Hello learners, welcome to Education Online. I'm teacher Regina Massimo, teaching you biology. Our topic is threats to biodiversity. In our previous lesson, we talked about biodiversity hotspots. Biodiversity hotspot. These are the regions biological diverse and also under threat. Due to habitat loss or species loss. We talk about this. So now we want to look at these threats to biodiversity. What are they? And what are the consequences of this threat to the living organisms or to the ecosystem? So the threats to biodiversity are the major causes for the loss of biologically diversity. Biological diversity. These are the major threats to biodiversity. Diversity are the major causes for the loss of biological diversity. Biological diversity. And these threats can be natural crisis or can be man-made. So this man-made involves the activities that it harms the biodiversity. And we are going to talk about these man-made disasters or man-made threats to biodiversity. And these are the depletion of vegetative cover, depletion of vegetative cover. That means reduction of vegetative cover. When we talk about vegetative cover, we mean the plants, grass, all these known as vegetative cover. So when plants and grasses are reduced, there must be reason. Either they are destroyed or they are reduced or they are removed for agriculture expansion. Agriculture expansion. If you want to expand agricultural land, you find normally man reduces or remove all the plants, all the grasses. Or if you want to construct houses, so you find here vegetative cover are reduced. And we know very well that plants play important role in ecosystem. It is source of food, it is source of medicine, and is the one controlling air pollution. If they are all removed, that means that will lead to pollution, air pollution, food insecurity, This is the consequences of depletion of vegetative cover. Number 2 is deforestation. Deforestation or forest degradation, or forest degradation, the same. Forest degradation. So forests are reduced mainly due to commercial use of timber, expansion of agriculture. So that means even the forest can be reduced because people are the one cutting the trees to be used, this like timber, to be used for construction. They cut forests for agriculture expansion, if you want to expand agricultural land. And even deforestation can happen through uncontrolled and controlled fires or grazing. Uncontrolled grazing. If the number of cattle grazing around is increased, that will lead to overgrazing. Overgrazing. And overgrazing can lead into deforestation or forest degradation. And if the forests are destroyed, that means all the trees are destroyed. All the trees are destroyed. And trees, they have very important role. They play very important role because trees are the one cleaning up our environment. Trees are cleaning up our environment. Some of the pollutants in the environment are absorbed by plants, so leaving the environment clean, like carbon dioxide that's sent to the atmosphere. Then it is hunted by the trees to be used in the process of photosynthesis. That's how we are reducing the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, through the trees. So if the trees are all destroyed, that means we are not going to get any organism that can reduce the percentage of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So the percentage or the amount of the gas of carbon dioxide will get accumulated in the air. This accumulation can lead to global warming, and this is one of the risk of climate change. So these are the consequences of deforestation: destroying plants or trees because we are using it as a timber, we are cutting it as a to be used as a firewood, and even overgrazing, over harvesting. This all will lead to destruction of trees, and trees are the one cleaning up our environment. So there are many activities carrying place or taking place that can lead to forest degradation. Sometimes we remove the trees just to construct dams, large dams. This is one of the development pressure. Number 3, this is the third threat to biodiversity: habitat destruction. The third threat is habitat destruction. This habitat destruction is the primary cause of species extinction worldwide. Is the primary cause for some species extinction. Extinction, that means disappear. Some of the living organisms, they die, all they disappear for good due to habitat destruction. That's why habitat destructions is said to be the primary cause for species extinction, because the habitat, as we define, this is the place where the organism live, the place where the organism get its food or nutrient, the place where the organism can reproduce or can breed. So if it is destroyed, all these things cannot take place. They can be destroyed all with their habitats, so there's no longer reproduction can take place. So if reproduction is not taking place, because reproduction is very important in the continuity of life, so the reproduction, if it is not there, that can make the species disappear totally. So habitat serves as a primary cause of species extinction worldwide. Destruction of habitat leads to discouragement or displacement of some type of living organism. That means habitat destruction, it doesn't support the presence of living organism. Or in other words, it discourages the presence or existence of living organism. Because if their habitat is destroyed, there's no longer food for that animal to eat, and cannot even reproduce in that place. So during habitat destruction, even the species or the organism can be destroyed. The organism itself can be destroyed. So the destruction of this organism means reduction in biodiversity. Reduction in biodiversity. That's why it is considered as a threat to biodiversity. The fourth threat is wildlife poaching. Wildlife poaching. These wild animals, sometimes we the human being, we do hunt them illegally for commercial purpose or for bush meat, for either bush meat or for commercial purpose. So this illegal hunting is basically done violently, so that can lead to disappearance of some of the species. If some of the species disappear from the ecosystem, that ecosystem cannot be characterized as biodiverse or biologically diverse. Because when we talk about the diversity, biological diversity or biodiversity, we are talking at 3 levels. That was said in the previous lesson. We talk about the genetic diversity, we talk about species diversity. And the species is the most important part in biodiversity. Reduction in this species making the ecosystem losing the biology or biological diversity. That's why I said that wildlife poaching lead to extinction of some species of animals, and it reduces the number of species present in ecosystem. If the number of the species in the ecosystem is reduced, that ecosystem is not characterized by biodiversity. The fifth threat is climate change. The fifth threat to biodiversity is the climate change. Climate change. If all the forests or the vegetative covers are destroyed, that means our soil is exposed for erosion. Erosion either by winds or by water or rain. Soil erosion. So you'll find that this type of soil will lose its, or it become unfertile. If the soil is unfertile, that means when you cultivate, it doesn't give yield. So that's why you'll find people will start experiencing drought, start experiencing food insecurity, because the soil used for cultivation is not longer producing. And this climate change is a result of removal of forests and vegetative cover. Because we know very well, when there is a climate change, there will be change in rainfall even. There will be change in rainfall. And the change in rainfall has even negative impact on our crops. The change in rainfall can destroy our crops. If the crops are destroyed, the living organism will face many danger, because food will not be there, which is food insecurity. Climate change, one of the risks of climate change is desertification. Because of this soil erosion, and this soil is no more producing, that means plant cannot grow there, grass cannot grow there, it becomes unfertile. So the soil which is unfertile, where no grass, no plant, it is already what? Desert. And even desert has its negative impact on living organisms. We shall talk about that when we come to topic of climate change, our effect of climate change, I mean. Climate change, another risk of climate change is global warming. Global warming. This is also one of the risks of climate change. Global warming. Global warming is a result of depletion of vegetative cover, destruction of forest. When forests are destroyed, that means all the trees are destroyed. Reduction of vegetative cover, that means removal of some of the plants, grass, and those greens or this vegetation, they play a role in management of pollution. Management of pollution, like air pollution. They play a role in management of pollution, just like air pollution. They are the one managing it. So if they are not there, these trees or these vegetative covers, if they are not there, that means there are no more control or management of pollution. So when our air is polluted, that means accumulation of the gas, like carbon dioxide gases and the other gases in the air, that can cause global warming, because the earth will start experiencing heat, and it is abnormal heat. That abnormal heat can cause global warming. That's why we said air pollution doesn't recognize political boundaries. So if this air pollutant, if it is happen in other countries, can affect the neighboring countries, they can affect the whole world. So what causes all these threats? Let us come to the causal factors. Causal factors of threats to biodiversity. What causes all these threats? The development pressure. Development pressure. If you want to make development, like construction of houses, construction of roads, we need to what? Remove all the vegetative cover. We need to destroy forests just to have a place to build houses or to construct roads, to construct dams, or other development activities, just like mining, resources extraction, oil drilling. So these are all development pressure. Cause number 2 is exploitation. Exploitation, like fishing. Overgrazing, overharvesting, and sometimes even collection made by scientists or scientific, sometimes collection made by scientific or educational institution. So scientific institution, sometimes they carry their practicals by collecting some plants, species of plants, or collecting some species of animals. So in the process of collection, that means they are making what? Reduction in biodiversity. Reduction in biodiversity. That is one of the threats also. And this is the one causing all these threats: exploitation. We exploit our resources. Thank you. We have reached to the end of our lesson of today. We meet next time.